Hey everybody, Chris here with Santa's Laser. Look at that, we've got power. And if you look behind there, we have insulation that I just got through installing in the building. So if you're a installation installer out there somewhere, your job is safe for me because this is a lot of work, and as you can see right now, it's only 86 degrees. A while ago it was almost 100. So this has been a lot of work, and of course I had to do it on the hottest days.
A few moments later.
So, hey, it's Chris again with Santa's Laser. We took that last video about a week ago, and I have been so busy I haven't had a chance to make a video at least the last 3 weeks. So, wanted to get on here and make a little video. Got several things I wanted to talk about. It's been so busy. Paneling finally has arrived, and my flooring's arrived. So, the building will start moving along, and then we'll actually start moving into it. Um, in addition, Santa had a little thing he had to go to. Him and Mrs. Claus were in Durham for a seminar to make us better Santas, and that was a fun class that we went to. But I have been doing some studying on fiber laser, as you may have remembered, and MOPA lasers as well. And during those studies, I found out some information that I hope I can kind of dumb it down a little bit to help you understand the various settings for a fiber and MOPA and that kind of thing. So here's a short, and I hate to do it, but it's a PowerPoint because I think it's the easiest way to represent the information I want to talk to you about. So these are the 5 different settings that you normally have to work with a fiber laser. You've got your speed, your power, your line interval. Those are all basically the same thing you see on CO2 or diodes. But you also have frequency and Q pulse. Now, speed's pretty much what it says. It determines how quickly the laser head moves across the material. Higher speeds are going to engrave faster, of course, but you'll have less detail. Lower speeds are going to be deeper engrave and a little bit darker, but it's just going to take longer. Power, of course, is going to control the laser intensity, and it affects the depth and darkness of the engrave, and adjusts the power for your material or your desired effect. And it's basically how much power of the machine are you actually using. Line interval is the distance between your laser lines as it's being engraved. This affects the engraving resolution or the density, and a smaller line interval means finer detail, but it increases the process time. So frequency you will see in your fiber type lasers. In laser engraving, the frequency refers to the number of the laser pulses emitted per second, and it's a crucial parameter for controlling the engraving process. The higher the frequency results in more pulses with less energy per pulse or power, and then leading to a finer detail and cleaner results, especially on delicate materials. And finally, the Q pulse is the final setting. This is on some fiber lasers. Sometimes it's called a Q switch, but it's mostly shown on MOPA fiber lasers as well. And so what is Q pulse? One evening I was trying to figure this out, and I was watching Saturday Night Live stream, and Patrick from Light Source Engraving had a wonderful analogy. He equated it to a light switch, that you turn it on and off for a second, and that would be 1 Q pulse. So you could also turn it on, off, or however many times within that 1 second, so you have that many Q pulses within that 1 second. This affects the intensity and duration of the laser pulse, which in turn influences the engraving's precision, depth, and most importantly to think about too is the thermal effects on the material. So I know it sounded a little like frequency and Q pulse was the same thing, but let me try to explain it a little bit better. There is some difference. Frequency determines how often the laser actually pulses per that second, while the Q pulse dictates the duration within that second, or how many times within that second it actually pulses with the Q pulse. So exactly how does the frequency and Q pulse work together for laser engraving? Adjusting the frequency and the Q pulse significantly impacts laser engraving by controlling the power delivered and the thermal effect. Higher frequency results in more laser pulses per second, leading to a smooth, more precise engraving, but requires more power. Shorter Q pulse durations, measured in nanoseconds actually, delivers more energy per that pulse, enabling a finer detail and a deeper engrave, but also increases the heat concentration. So Q-Pulse's main objective, specifically in a MOPA laser, is really about the color and achieving that color effect during laser engraving. While not the sole determinant, Q-Pulse, with the duration of the laser pulse, allows for more precise control over the energy delivered, leading to the different colors of material, like stainless steel. If you remember, though, that's a heat issue as well. Color and energy density, the energy density of the laser pulse, how much energy is packed into a small space, is directly related to the color produced. By varying the Q pulse width, you can change the energy density and thus the color. So if you're like me, you were a bit confused about how all this works. So I've tried to put it into a simple form here. Speed is how fast it's going to move. Power is how much from the potential of the laser itself. The line interval is how close it engraves every time it goes back and forth across your project. Frequency is how often it actually pulses. And then the Q pulse is the number of times that it pulses within that frequency. I hope this helps out some on trying to understand what a laser fiber needs in the terms of settings. So as you can see, there's several other factors you have to look at and start to learn when you get a laser. And I've actually ordered my laser and the MONPORT GI 30 watt MOPA, and it's arrived. I've got it built, as you can see right here. And I'll show you this short video that I actually created to try to get an answer to a question that the laser head seemed to have a lot of play in it.
An issue that I need some help with, if somebody can help me, is the head supposed to have this much play in it. The screws are all tight, the base is all tight, and best as I can tell, where the tower actually connects, it's all tight.
So you can see the amount of play that was actually in the laser head, and I was concerned that that was going to be a problem. So on Sunday night, of course, I was watching Sunday Night Live with Clack and Steve, and I put the question out to them, and Brett from Brett's Laser Garage actually informed me that he has the GI 60 watt and that he had the same amount of play and he's had no issues. So I'm not going to worry about that anymore, but I've not yet got to actually start running my laser because I've been so busy, but hope to get that started now. So now that I have the fiber laser, I went ahead and purchased MONPORT's enclosure as well. I'm trying to show a little brand loyalty to MONPORT right now because I've had such good success with their 60 watt CO2. And as long as I continue to get good results from their machinery and stuff, their price point is good enough that I can do what I need to do right now. At some point, I will probably upgrade to the more expensive stuff, but for now, I'm very, very happy with what I've got. But what was funny to me today was the fact that I was putting together the enclosure, and on the outside cover, of course, it says MONPORT's enclosure. When you go through the instructions, which left a lot to be desired, honestly, but when you got to the end, one of the final things there, as you can see, says, now the comm marker enclosure is all assembled. We pretty well know that most time those lasers, most of the parts come from probably 2 or 3 manufacturers, so they're all combined in some way, fashion, or form. So it's not that unusual, I don't think, but it was just rather funny to read. So even with all that was going on, I was able to create this little project right here, which is basically a rack for my wife's ceramics. The ceramic bottles are a little odd in the fact that they're pretty good size and diameter, but they're not very tall. So most of the racks that I was finding wasn't going to work for this. But as you can see, I've got the rows there, and they're all connected together. You can see here on the side that each one is come out individually as a rack itself. Then shown right here is one rack taken out. And then finally, what I ended up doing to create some stability for the actual rack itself was I took the handles that had been cut out previously, and I used them as a little stop to actually put the pieces together. So that's an entire rack's put together now, and she's a lot happier about it. So that has been my last 3 weeks, and I hope that you've enjoyed a little bit. I hope you learned a little bit of something while on this video as well. And if you enjoyed it, and if you did learn something, please like and subscribe, and let's grow this channel a little bit more. So y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.